everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to do a tutorial and I'm going to show you several things today, but the main focus of today's video is to give you a starting point on how to make stationery sets, whether you're gifting them or trying to sell them, or just want to kind of go through your stash. Some tips and tricks on how to do that effectively and quickly, and get more enjoyment out of it instead of it becoming a very tedious task. So first, I am going to go over those tips and tricks, and any products that I know what the specific item is, I will list them below. Otherwise, I'm going to just kind of chit chat through a lot of this video. If you are not interested in the tips and tricks or not interested in my little chit chat, feel free to mute it and speed up the video or slow it down however you desire. But I am going to do a lot of talking and not necessarily a lot of talking about what I am using. If I feel like I need to interject, I will, but I really just want to give you some tips and tricks and things that help me when I am making stationery sets for usually gifting. So one of the things that I want to talk about today, first off, I am doing some hot foiling in this part of the video, and I am using HAMMERMILL cardstock for all of my foiling. I feel like that gives me the best results. Here I am showing you a foil that I have tried numerous ways, and I just cannot get this to foil cleanly. I think this is Spellbinders like satin gold glimmer foil, and I don't know if this foil has a shelf life or what, but I have tried this several ways and I cannot get this foil to work. So I ended up just tossing this in the trash because it just made me aggravated. And I switched to different foils, but all of the foils I use are from Spellbinders. Anyway, so on to the tips and tricks. So one of the things that I want to focus on, one of the tips I have is limiting your color palette. So you're going to see in today's video that I really do limit the color palette. I have a set of 3 pinks and I have a set of 3 like blues. Limiting your color palette makes it easy to mass produce. It makes your cards look cohesive, especially if you're going to give them as a stationery set. It makes everything look like it is meant to go together, and makes it look very professional. Now, that is not to say that there is anything wrong with giving somebody a set of cards that are all very different and unique, have completely different looks to them. There is nothing wrong with that. But if you want to give a set that has a very cohesive look, looks like it was meant to go together, then that is one of the tricks I have for you, is to limit your color palette. This way you're not coming back and trying to reinvent the wheel, for lack of better words, as far as colors go. So limiting your color palette is the first trick I have for you, first tip. The other tip I have is to limit your products. So I'm showing you, so what I mean by that is not only limit your color, so your color palette, but limit the products you're using. So maybe use stamps and your coloring medium of choice. Or maybe you use just pattern paper and a die set. Limit the things that you have to pull out and subsequently put away. That is another trick that I have for you, another tip I have. Another tip I have is to use the same basic layout. So you're going to see me repeat this layout throughout all of these cards. I did get a little bit of overfoiling on this particular like iridescent foil, and I'm using my finger to rub it off, and then I grab an eraser, like a white pencil eraser, and I will show you in the video that does change the finish. It kind of dulls it a little bit. It's not quite as shiny, but it still has that iridescent to it. Just a little side note. So use the same basic layout. I could use these to where they are portrait or landscape, but use the same basic layout. So I have the frame, and then I have some florals, and I have a sentiment. That's the same basic thing on all 4 of the cards that we're making today. That is another way that you don't have to go back and, again, reinvent the wheel. You don't have to maybe get new products out or more products out so that you can have a cohesive layout and design that you're happy with. So find a layout that you like and use that throughout. That is another way to make this set look cohesive, like it was intended to go together, and helps make this be a much quicker process for you. The other one I have, so number 4, is to limit that techniques. So here I am showing you a lot of techniques. We've got stamping, we've got die cutting, we've got foiling, we've got better press. This is to show you that you don't have to use all of these. Maybe you don't have a better press. Maybe you don't like to foil. That's fine. Find a technique, and there's stenciling in here also. Find a technique that you like and that you can use throughout all of the cards. I'm just showing you several ones so that you can maybe pick and choose what you like or what you have in your stash available to you. But limit your techniques. Again, that means less products that you have to pull out, less products that you have to put away. And that in and of itself makes this go by quicker. And again, will help make everything look like it's meant to be together. Now, please keep in mind that I'm saying this, everything look together, look cohesive, look like it was meant to, like you made it to match. Again, there is nothing wrong with giving a set of cards that all of them are different. I'm just focusing again on if you want them all to look very similar. I am going to speed up the video a little bit here because I'm not doing anything groundbreaking, and I'm just trying to make this video a little quicker for you. So another tip that I have, and this is the final one, is one and done products. So what I mean by that is not necessarily products that are like stickers. You put those on there, you have no more stickers. What I mean is dies that can cut everything in one go, stencils that color everything in one pass. You're going to see me use that today. Maybe you find a stamp set that has flowers that you love, but also has sentiments that you love that will work. That goes back to one of our other tips of limiting the amount of products and techniques that you're using. So you'll see me today. I found one stamp set that had dies for all of these really beautiful sentiments, and I used all of the dies and stamps from that, and that limited the number of products I pulled out. That also limited the amount of time I had to search or hand cut things out, because I'm not good at that and I'm not fast at that. So that helps me save time. That is a one and done in my book. I've got one pass through my die cut machine, and then I have all my sentiments cut. I did die cut those out twice just because I wanted to give these sentiments a little more, make them a little more substantial, but you don't have to do that. I have a stencil set when I go to color in these flowers that colors out all of the flowers in one pass. The stamp set stamps all of these flowers in one pass. The die set die cuts everything in one pass. That's what I mean by one and done. You don't have to keep going back and going back and going back and reattaching dies again. You don't have to stamp multiple little bitty stamps all at one time. Having a stamp positioning tool where you can, if you do have stamps that are in multiple pieces, individual stamps, using a tool like your Misty to help stamp everything at one time instead of having to mount things to individual blocks or that kind of thing. Those kind of things may seem very small, but they really do make things go so much faster. And that's what I mean by limiting, doing a one and done kind of product. I love these, and I think a lot of companies are coming out with these now. I see Ultinu coming out with these kind of things now, and even Simon is starting to come out with these kind of things now where you stamp a bunch of images on one stamp, then the die cuts everything in one pass. They have stencils that have, the entire stencil or the entire stamped image on one stencil, but you can stencil individual segments or individual sections of the stamp, but the stencil is all one piece. One of the things that I do want to note is that when I was stenciling these in, I wanted to have a little more color variation, and so I tried to use the two lighter colors on one panel and then the two darker colors on the next panel, just so I could have it looked like I had more colors than I actually did. I stuck with the same 6 ink colors total, but it looks like I have a little bit more just because on some of them I only used the light and the medium. On another one I just used the medium and the dark. Another one I just used the light and the dark. So it gave me a little bit more variation. And I did use some of my smaller blending brushes, although you could use the bigger ones if you wanted to. I just used the smaller ones because that's what felt nice in my hand, I guess. So here you see the die that cuts everything in one pass. So that's what I mean by, one and done products. Things that cut everything out, stencil everything, stamp everything in one pass. So those are the tips I have for you today. Again, just to recap, we're approaching kind of the end of this video. Limit the color palette, limit the products that you pull out, use the same basic layout, limit your techniques, although I showed you a bunch of techniques in today's video. And I apologize here, I am off screen. I will eventually realize that I am off screen and pull myself back up. So limit your techniques, and then obviously the last one is use, one and done kind of things, one and done products where you can do things in one fell swoop instead of multiple separate steps. There we go. So I hope those tips helped you. Today I wanted to give you tips. The next 2 videos that I'm hoping to post on Thursdays for the next couple weeks will be more inspiration based. So I wanted to give you the tips first, and then we'll move into the inspiration for the next 2 videos. And I hope that this inspires you. I hope it helps you. If you're not one that actually sends, stationery sets, or you never make the same card twice, let me know in the comments below. Are you kind of every card has to be different, and that's how you like to craft, or are you cool with cards that look very similar, like what we make today? So I appreciate you spending time with me. I do hope you felt inspired, and until then, we will see you next time. Bye.